Most of my videos involve how to solve chemistry problems, but in this one, I want to show you how to have a stress-free exam prep. And I know just saying those words gets you stirred up, I know. So let me give you a few tips. One, things I've learned as an instructor, and actually some things that I've seen in my own kids' lives. So first of all, anxiety, much of it can be cured by action. And sometimes the thinking about the exam and the amount of work and the amount of prep and what if my grade and what if this and what if he asked this on the exam and all those sorts of things can just eat you alive. So a lot of the things that we are anxious about, you have no control over. And so the one thing that you can control would be your activity. So my encouragement in this area would just be some action, and I'll show you more what I'm talking about. The next thing would be self-talk. I have had students walk into my classroom and say on an exam day, I'm going to fail this exam. And what I usually do is send them back out of the room, let them walk in again, and try it with a little bit different self-talk. So what you think about, the words that you say to your classmates about your exam, about your grade, really matter. So be careful what words that you use and speak positively about this. I'm going to do this activity. This is how I'm going to study. I feel confident about this because I have prepared. Self-talk, watch that. All right, this is the absolute money section right here. A written plan. Absolutely write a plan for each exam that you're going to take. So maybe your exam is in 5 days. Break down the activities, okay, that you want to do. I'm going to say the activities, and how long it's going to take. Don't write down, I'm going to study Wednesday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday morning. Okay, don't write down something like that. What does that mean? What doable activity can you write down? Maybe 15 minutes, it's watching a video. Maybe it is reviewing 2 chapters worth of notes. Maybe it is doing some example problems that you've done in class. Write down specific tasks that you can write on your list and that you can check them off. I did this. I reviewed those 3 tests. I reviewed the objectives. Break down your studying, the big task of studying, into little manageable action steps. And then start to work your plan, right? And then if you have multiple exams, all of your classes, you can have action steps. That way you can feel like you're making progress, and then you know when you're done. You've determined how much time you can spend on each exam, what activities you're going to do, then go work your plan. Listen, if you don't get something done on Thursday that you intended to do, roll it to Friday. It's okay. But have an action plan, and it will help move you and propel you so that you don't just get eaten alive by anxiety in your exam prep. All right, one thing would just be scan the chapters. And I'm actually talking about the textbook, whether it is digital or a paper textbook. When you flip through the pages, you're looking at examples, bold words, terms, graphs, figures. What is the author trying to say? And when you look at all of that material put together in a chapter, it should make sense when you see all that information together. Sometimes just flipping through a chapter, looking at the pictures, can help remind you of some of the concepts and just embed those into your mind. Maybe you see something that doesn't look familiar. Maybe you need to spend a little bit more time and actually read that section. So scanning your chapters. Then, have you been given objectives from your instructor, or is there a syllabus? What does your instructor want you to know for this particular exam? So review those things, and maybe that's intuitively obvious, right? But what is expected? Maybe it's not exactly what is in a chapter. If you have good notes, definitely review those. All right, this is magical. Okay, I'm calling it the magical one-pager. So take your chapter or your test worth of information and try to take a written piece of paper and make what I call a one-pager. What is the super important content of that? What are the main ideas? Maybe it's an equation. Maybe it's a graph that's really important. What are the main ideas? It doesn't need to be organized into an outline with words or whatever, but it can have little sections. Maybe there's a little section that involves a graph and interpreting a graph or some equations. What do the variables mean in that equation? And when would you use that? Maybe it's some key concepts. Maybe there's some laws or principles that you need to know and apply. So if you can take a chapter's worth of material and handwritten make a one pager, that one pager is golden. Now, I don't mean copy your friend's one pager, right? Because the act of creating it helps you process the information. And when you write it down on a piece of paper, it helps embed that into your mind. And then as you get closer to that exam, you can just review those one pagers and just flip through those, and your eyes will remember what you see on that one pager. That's one of my golden tips. All right, I hope that that helps you prepare for your exams stress-free. Now, remember this one thing. The only thing that you can control is your attitude and your preparation. You can't control that exam, what that instructor puts on there. The only thing you can control is your attitude and your prep. Focus on those two things and don't worry about what's beyond your control. I hope this helps. You can do chemistry.